The VOB sounds to me like it's an old school rapper, like the DOC, and Dr. Dre. Like, yeah, we got the VOB over here. You know, it's very weird to me.
Sit next to the Cristal.
I love it. I freaking love it.
And the 40. And welcome to episode 95 of The Mashup, the best bourbon conversation you're going to hear all week long. We're your hosts, Anthony and Steven. Hello, Anthony.
Hello, Steven.
So, over the weekend, I'm sure some of you saw it, I took a little trip to Nashville.
Nashville, Tennessee.
Boot, scoot, and boogie.
There you go.
And we went down there for a birthday party.
This is already sounding really good. I'm liking the sounds of this.
So, we get to the hotel, which is, I mean, maybe a couple streets over from the main strip downtown.
Oh.
We go.
So you're going there for a birthday party. Like, what's the connection? Like, you just down there in Nashville? Like, did you go down there specifically to celebrate a birthday? Somebody live down there? What's going
on? Friends were up here. Now they moved down there.
Okay.
And he was celebrating a big birthday.
Okay.
So we went down there to celebrate with him.
Nice. And so
we did a little Topgolf.
Ah, sweet. You know, I've never done that.
I've now done Vegas and now Nashville.
So you've done both Vegas and Nashville Topgolf?
Yes.
Any difference, or are they the same as like a big franchise?
No, Vegas is the flagship.
Okay, I didn't know that.
It's a total of 4 stories.
Okay.
Nashville's 3. Vegas has a pool, a bar, a sports bar.
What?
Yeah.
So you can like hit some balls and then like go jump in the pool?
Yes.
Oh, man.
TV's like 3 story, like tall, like TV matrix going on. It's pretty wild.
So, Topgolf, Las Vegas better than...
no, Nashville was great.
Nashville was great?
It was still fun. It was just, I mean, Vegas is just over the top.
I got you.
So,
well, we need one of those in Lexington. You want to open one? Me and you will partner and open a Topgolf in Lexington?
Well, they're actually opening it's called a Par 6 by Topgolf.
Oh, they are already?
It's over at the mall.
Dang, man, they already beat us to it.
And it's an indoor simulator.
Okay.
So, we're hitting against the screen, but at least you can play a course.
Okay.
So...
we'll go over there and do it.
Yeah, I think that sounds fun.
All right, back to the bars and the parties.
Yeah,
Let's see about this.
Before dinner, we took a little stroll down, I don't know if it's Broadway or the main strip there.
Okay.
And
pre-gaming?
Yeah, we went in and out of a couple of the, I don't know if they're honky tonks or just the bars.
Honky tonk.
Yeah.
Did you see the honky tonk man at all?
I think that place has become so, like, there are so many people. So it was January.
Yeah.
It was overcast and kind of spitting rain. It wasn't the warmest.
Yeah.
And the sidewalks were packed.
Oh, just like nonstop.
Yeah,
people
like
just
I can't
everywhere.
imagine what that place is going to look like during summertime. They're going to have to close the street because there's going to be no people going to overflow into the street.
Well, it's been years since I've been to Nashville.
It's changed since probably the last time.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Like we went to Alan Jackson's bar.
Oh, sweet.
And we went to another one. And they're all like 3-4 stories, right? They all have a rooftop.
Yeah.
Every floor has a band or some performer. And the floors move.
Oh, no way, really?
I don't think these whenever they were built were meant for hundreds of people per level. So I'm sure they've reinforced it because that would be a horrible look for Nashville if like that had collapsed or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, the floors are moving.
Dang, man.
Yeah. So we were up on top and that's where I took the video and I put it on Instagram. But they had these interesting like buses that were going around.
Okay.
So if the bars aren't good enough for you, you can get into some sort of like party bus with like all like plexiglass surrounding.
Okay.
And just dance with neon lights and everyone can see you and you can see everyone and
really?
you're driving down the strip.
That sounds like
several different varieties and versions. Everywhere from just like there's a couple people in it to all like a drag show version was going down.
Did you partake at all? No,
you're not gonna find me in a plexiglass where thousands of eyes are watching me white boy dance.
I was thinking the other way around. I'm thinking that might get me in trouble. You might find me in a plexiglass dancing over there, getting into all kind of trouble. But that's crazy. So, what was your favorite? I guess since you were down there with other folks, like what was your favorite experience there? Like, did you pick one? If you had to pick one, what would it be? Like a favorite drink? Did you see any good bourbon down there? Since people listening to the show might care about bourbon, I don't know if they do or not. They may or may not.
Honestly, we did not partake too much in the bourbon scene down there.
Okay.
Or we looked the hotel bar actually had a pretty good selection.
Decent prices too, or no?
That I don't know. I'm sure they weren't because their mixed drinks were anywhere from 15 to 17.
Oh, jeez.
On the cocktail wise.
Yeah.
I'm sure they were high, but they actually had a decent little selection.
That's cool.
Yeah, we went out. I think we got like wine and beer.
I got you.
For the evening.
That's a little bit more steady when you're going to be out having multiple drinks. You can't like just go out and like Hulk the
just
bourbon.
Start pounding.
Like, let me have a double shot of this and a double shot of that, and then I'll see you maybe in a couple hours. Yeah, exactly. That's fantastic.
It was fun. Yeah, I mean that place. I was also wondering, like, what is it like when they close?
Oh yeah,
like are just people out in the street for like a half hour and it's just chaos?
Well, I can't speak to that, but I do know that the 1 year I was probably like, I'm trying to think how old I was, 21 or 20. No, I was 21. I had to be 21. We went down to spring break in Florida, and we planned to stop in Nashville on the way back, and that was a lot of fun. But the only thing is, it was after spring break, so you're already like, okay, I drank every day and I'm already a mess and now I'm down here. But the funniest thing I remember is like, you know, so I'm Greek and everything. And when I get tan, I get really tan.
Yeah.
And so I was getting a lot of strange looks in the country bar that we were at because I don't think anybody could tell what ethnicity, race, whatever I was, because I was so dark. And it was made for a fun night though. Like Nashville's a really fun city. So, I mean, that's cool. I'd love to go back now. I mean, I've gone with the kids recently and done Opryland and stuff, but that's not like what you guys did. Yeah, not at all.
So as we're leaving one of the places, going to another one, we were right in the middle of one altercation.
Oh yeah, like a little too much to drink altercation. I don't know. Somebody's mad.
I don't know what was going on, but like this female and male came in one door.
Okay.
And the bouncers were, you know, they got past the bouncers, and this other guy was like trying to get through the bouncers to the guy, and the guy was like, "Don't let him in." And then they were exchanging pleasantries,
beer muscles.
Yeah. And then that couple went up the stairs, and we like waited because I didn't know what was going to happen. So we went out another door. We took like 4 steps, and all of a sudden, like stuff was happening,
rushing them.
So they had like 4 bouncers, and so they basically this was a pretty big guy, and just muscled him to the street.
Oh, you just like put him like walked him out, right? Like straight through.
I mean, he was walking on his own, but he wasn't going anywhere. And they have a pretty good system, and they were like, and those bouncers were like, hey, because there were cops along the whole thing, and then they basically took over at that point.
Oh, of course.
So there wasn't like any need for chaos. It was like they just basically moved the problem to the street.
Well, that's gotta make you feel good.
And then the cops basically took over at that point.
Yeah.
So
that's nothing like the way things are happening in Cleveland. When we lived in Cleveland, there was no bouncers and no cops in the street. It was just people exacting justice on one another in the bar. Like, you looked at me wrong. Come here, let's go.
I didn't see any of that.
Yeah. Well, that's good. But hey, Nashville, great city. I'm glad that y'all had a good time down there. That's I got to get down there now and experience it.
Yeah. It's quite the scene,
I'm sure.
So we had one anonymous 5-star review this week.
We did. Well, we like to have something to talk about or review to read.
But I appreciate the 5-star.
Exactly.
They at least took the time to do that. So that's great. That's grateful.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. or Mrs. 5-star. Wherever you're at out there, we thank you humbly.
We praise you. Thank you. Thank you.
From the Mashup Podcast with love.
And we have one more shout out this week.
We do, actually.
Today
is the Big Bopper. The man himself,
Mr. Mossick.
Mr. Mossick. It's Mossick's birthday, so we wanted to give him a shout out and say happy birthday, Mossick.
Happy birthday.
Steve, give you singing a little song over there. But yeah, we had Mossick on for a couple episodes, but we just wanted to send him some birthday love.
Indeed. And if anyone else wants a shout out, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. The next time I record, we will give you a shout out. Anthony, I had to stretch to get this bottle this week.
Did you go and try to find chasing the truck for allocations?
No, instead of having to go on tippy toes, I had to bend down to get this bottle because it was on the bottom shelf.
5, 6, 7, 8 tippy toes. I love it.
So I've brought you the pleasure of this week.
Oh God,
of Very Old Barton 100 proof.
Oh my goodness! There we are. So Very Old Barton. The distillery is Barton, 1792, owned by Daddy Saz. The bottle date is 2022. The ABV is 50%. The proof is 100. This is a non-age stated bourbon, even though the rumor is it's between 4 and 6 years old. The mash bill is 75% corn, 15% rye, and 10% malted barley. And the MSRP is a blistering. Are you ready for this? $15.99.
Nice.
I don't know if we can handle that. That's very pricey.
Well, you may get this confused with an old Weller bottle.
That's true. That's the old style pirate. We call it a pirate bottle, Wellers. What do they call them? I don't know. Old style Wellers.
Fat bottom. If you're looking at all the Bartons, this is easy to spot because it has the white label, white neck tag on it to say it's 100 proof.
That's right. And I always think of these bottles, and I don't know why, but I think they look like a bowling pin to me.
They do.
Which is really weird to say. It's almost like if you took the bowling ball, stuck it at the bottom of the bowling pin so it was a little fatter.
Actually, if you made it go through one of those mirror mazes.
There you go. Yeah. Mirror maze. I like that. But yeah, it's got a really nice, it's the white and gold accent contrast. There's not a whole lot to the bottle. And it just says that it's distilled by the Barton Distillery in Bardstown and Frankfurt. They kind of doubled up there. But the only thing I will say that you didn't mention is they have this really cool, weird-looking crest with two horses. It almost looks like Belle Meade's crest. You remember Belle Meade had that weird crest with the horses?
Yeah, it's got VOB right in the middle of it.
Yeah, it's almost like they're inviting you to nickname it. This is the VOB.
It's quite the family crest they got there.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
The VOB sounds to me like it's an old school rapper. Like the DOC,
yeah.
Dr. Dre. Like, yeah, we got the VOB over here, you know. It's very weird to me.
Sit next to the Cristal.
I love it. I love it.
And the 40.
Get yourself the Edward 40 hands. So, yeah. But yeah, it's a pretty standard bottle. Not much to it. And Steven's right. This is, if you didn't know about Weller before, like you just know the modern Weller, this is the actual old style Weller bottle that was used forever.
Well, I guess I finally have myself a Weller then.
Yeah, you got yourself.
This have a black label on it, so
I'm going to take this. I'm going to write 12 right on the front, and then it'll be all set. What do you think about that?
Finally,
yeah,
this was easy to get to.
So, do you want to hear a little bit about this bottle?
I mean, with that crest, I'm sure this story goes back to the 16 or 1700s.
Oh, it's close. I mean, you know, I bet you it does have roots that far back, but I can't go that far back.
I mean, Christopher Columbus brought it over.
He may have. So on episode 5, we did a 1792 small batch. You remember that? Episode 57, we did 1792 full proof. And I feel like we went out of order. What do you think? Because those are technically from Barton the more premium offerings.
We also did the budget episode.
Yes, we did.
And we had a bottle of...
Which one did you have?
I have the 86.
That was the 86?
That was the 86 proof.
Okay.
Because we had to go under $10.
I remember that.
So this is over $10.
And I cheated. This is over $10. That was under $10. Yeah. Well, that's actually pretty interesting. Yeah, we've also, of course, tasted, like we tasted the previous episode, Stonehammer. We've tasted the Kirkland, a lot of stuff that is sourced from the Barton Distillery, of course. But we're not going to call that Barton because it technically doesn't say that that's where it comes from on there. Even if they have a picture of the distillery on it, we can't say it that. So anyway, do you know that the Barton brand was founded by Chicago businessman Oscar Getz and Lester Abelson? They founded it shortly after Prohibition in 1933. So they basically were like modern day, like, you know how modern day we think about all these people start whiskey brands and they're like sourcing stuff? That's what they did. They were going around like sourcing stuff.
Nice.
And then after a while, they were like, we need to have something more reliable. So they went and bought what? They bought the Tommy Moe Distillery in 1944 in Bardstown, Kentucky. Remember Tommy Moe? We did that one.
Wow.
Right? Yeah, and that's when they renamed it to Barton. So they renamed it to Barton. And yeah.
I'm sorry, pause.
Yeah,
so this has a DSP number of 12.
Yep.
Actually, it's got multiple DSPs.
Well, I think if you look,
it's got distilled by Barton Distillery, Bardstown, Kentucky, DSP 12, and then the next line is bottled by Barton Distilling Company, Frankfurt, DSP 113.
I'm guessing that has something to do with when it was acquired and what the original distillery was. I'm sure DSP 12 was the original Tommy Moore Distillery.
That must be. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It must be.
Because even though they didn't buy it till 44, they actually, and they renamed it Barton at that time. I'm guessing, I think that they were making whiskey a lot earlier than that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I think that there was actually operation at that site from like late 1800s. So I'm sure that they had a pretty early DSP. So as you know, a common story, the ebbs and flows of the bourbon industry means that by the early 1980s, this distillery was either barely operating or I'm not sure if it was completely shuttered. I don't think it was ever completely shuttered, but they had rick houses full of whiskey. They weren't distilling all the time, and
that's just free aging right there.
Yeah, pretty much. They're just free aging and kind of buying time. And after that happened, Barton basically, the original operators and stuff died like off in the 80s, and then I leave the whole thing about whether they were operating or not to people that are smarter than me. But the brand was sold to Constellation in 1993, and guess why it was sold?
Because they weren't making any money.
Yeah, probably because they weren't making money, but also because in the Barton portfolio of brands, guess what they had? Corona beer. And so Constellation was able to sell that. I mean, they were able to buy that because they were trying to acquire the Corona beer name, which how did that turn out with the coronavirus? Not very good. But anyway, so 2009 is when Sazerac actually acquired Barton Brands. And they actually in 2009 acquired it for $334 million. That's pretty big.
Wow,
a lot of money was spent, and they mostly did it in the same reason Buffalo Trace talks about Sazerac. I keep saying Buffalo Trace and Sazerac in tandem with one another, but just to increase capacity, aging. That's why they bought it. But a lot of that history, you know where it came from?
Where?
My main man Chuck Cowdery. Have you ever read anything Chuck Cowdery writes?
No.
Okay, well, Chuck, I don't know him personally or anything, but he writes Bourbon, I think it was Bourbon County Newsletter and a bunch of other things that I've read online. And he had a pretty good article on the early start of Barton Brands and when they were sold to Sazerac and stuff like that. So Barton actually came from almost like a place of multitude of spirits, right? They didn't just own whiskey. They owned a lot of different brands, and they were out of Chicago, actually, which is pretty interesting stuff.
I mean, their portfolio now is all over the place.
Oh, absolutely. But I mean, Sazerac, being that they own them, I'm sure they're doing a whole bunch of stuff over there at the Barton Distillery we don't know about.
Right.
Like, I actually heard a rumor that they were dumping Blanton's over there, but I don't know if that's a rumor or not.
Who knows?
Yeah. You didn't. If you heard it on the Mashup podcast, so it might be true.
Well, should we go nose this beautifully crest VOB?
I think we should. I think it's long overdue. So I'm going to go real quickly here. I get a little bit of cinnamon, and I also get a lot of sharp oak, and I get a little bit of apple.
I get some vanilla.
Okay.
And this is going to sound crazy, but I kind of get an obey cookie. For some reason, I'm getting the peanut butter, and I'm getting oats.
Oh, yeah. No, that's not crazy at all. Like, I don't think there's any oats in there. Well, I know there's no oats in it. I don't. No, I can't read. There's no oats in the mash bill. But it definitely smells a little bit of oaty, and maybe that's like baked goods. Just maybe not a no-bake cookie for me, but like definitely some baked goods for sure. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's really interesting to me because I used to drink Very Old Barton quite a while back when I first started on my whiskey journey. So this is interesting.
My stepdad drinks the 86.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I think he just, if something calls for bourbon, he doesn't care. He's adding it to it.
Oh, you know what's interesting that you said that? I know a former member of our faculty, who also I could see him walking out of liquor stores from time to time with a large handle of the 86.
That's what he buys.
VOB.
I think it's just cheap.
Yeah,
and it's.
But he's making old fashions with it. Yeah. He likes it good enough.
I mean, when I go over there sometimes for the holidays,
yeah,
I might do the bourbon and Coke with the 86.
Well,
I'm like, well, it's not bad,
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of proofs, you know what's really weird about VOB? It's been available in a lot of different proof points. And I'm not sure, is it still available in these proof points? 80, 86, 90, and 100?
Honestly, I don't know about the 90.
Okay.
But I know I have an 86.
And there might, 80.
I think there's an 80.
They have an 80.
Yeah.
So
an 86 and 90, that's very bizarre.
It's very strange. And like,
the 86 by itself, what's the meaning behind that?
I you know what? I have no idea.
Because if you want 80, 90, 100, why 86?
Exactly. There's no rhyme or reason. The other thing is like when you try to chase down like solid history of when VOB was first offered, it's hard to chase it down. It was offered in decanters in the 60s. The regular 8-year bottlings in the 70s. But modern VOB, as we know it, there's a lot of weird things with proof and age. So did you know this bottle that we're sniffing on right now used to actually be age stated at 6 years old?
I mean, I could guess with the way things are that this thing has changed over the years as far as the wording that's been taken off labels.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting is not only did they not did they take the 6-year age statement off. But after they did that, they did a classic Saz move. You know what they did? Just like the ancient age. Remember we were talking about that? Mm-hmm. They just smacked a big 6 right on the front. It wasn't 6-year age statement. It was just a 6 right on a neck tag.
Number.
Yeah, and then they moved like the lettering to say bottled and bond across the middle. And then even then, now what does it say? It says...
This is crafted Very Old Barton.
Yeah, crafted. They took the age statement off, then they put bottled and bond, which meant it was at least 4 years old, 100 proof, and then now they've changed it to crafted.
Should just say made.
Made.
Handmade.
This bourbon was made on a stale. It's kind of crazy that they've done that with this brand. And of course, Saz said the reason they took the age statement came off because of demand. Then the bottled and bond statement came off because of demand. But do you know what I think? Do you know what other product they put out? What's the other product they put out that's bottled and bond?
I mean, I'm guessing you're talking about the 1792 bib.
Yeah. So you remember we were talking about 1792?
They just moved stock over to that?
I mean, I think so. I'd love for somebody to explain to me how that was different than having a Very Old Barton. I mean, that's the thing. They don't really disclose their mash bills. We're kind of guessing there. But I don't think that 1792 bib was different than VOB bib. I mean, they both got to be 4 years old at 100 proof. So unless they're pulling them from wildly different places, I mean, it's probably why they aren't making that one anymore, because 1792 bib is a $40 to $45 bottle, whereas this is
this was under 20. Well, should we go for first taste?
I would love to taste this.
It's short,
very short, ethanol-y a little bit.
Yeah, fairly easy to drink.
Yeah,
straight. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think I've had 2 pours of this now, mm-hmm. and the second pour was better than the first, as usual.
Yeah,
it's definitely serviceable.
Yeah,
I'm not going to say it's wowing me.
Yeah, I don't know that I would say it's wowing me either. I get like a lot of, so I tend to like the caramel vanilla, the classic bourbon flavors, a nice oak, and this I get shark oak. Shark.
You get shark oak?
I don't get shark oak. I get sharp oak.
Is this the next version of Sharknado?
It might be Sharknado.
Yeah.
But I get like a lot of lighter fruits, and so I've used a descriptor before. I hate the descriptor, the stone fruit. Kind of the stone fruits, the apples, the pears, things that I don't typically like in bourbon too much. The stone fruits and the pears, I like them for breakfast. I don't like them in my bourbon. You know, that's just the way I am.
It's got a nice hug on the throat. Nice hug on the going down.
It does.
Yeah.
I agree. I can't really, well, I'll save it, but I can't hate on this completely because there's a time where I really like this.
I wonder how I've had the 86 mix. I wonder how the 100 mixes.
Oh, you mean mixing it with like
Coke
just a cocktail or whatever?
Yeah.
Well, I guess based on how your stepdad's walking out with it and how my former colleagues walking out with it.
The 86.
We had that one, right? We had the 86 back in the budget episode, right?
Right.
Yeah. And I don't remember we liked it okay. We didn't think it was amazing, but we thought it was better.
I think it was
it was second.
3 of 3, I think, right?
I think it was second. Wasn't it second? I don't think we liked
oh, yeah, it was second.
Yeah, Michael brought like Doc Old Crow's whatever that was. That was bad.
That was awful.
Yeah, no offense, Michael. You know, continue to just say that you brought whatever that brought was. He probably paid $6 for that bottle. So it was bad.
It was impressive. That's all it was.
Oh, absolutely.
That he could find something for that cheap.
Yeah, 100%. Like I couldn't even stay within the confines of trying to find it that cheap. So pretty interesting stuff.
So Anthony, this is your moment. Would you pass, try, or buy on the crafted Very Old Barton 100 proof?
I'm so excited. This is actually tough. And the reason why I say it's tough is because I used to drink, as I mentioned earlier, the VOB a lot. And when I first started drinking, I thought it was one of the best values on the shelf. Mm-hmm. And so that's evolved over the years because I went from age stated to bonded to now the crafted. I do think it's lost a little bit of its luster. And when I say it's lost its luster, I don't mean that it's actually bad. I just mean that instead of being a buy, I'm going to be a solid try on this. And the reason why I'm a try is because there's a lot of emergent whiskey, other things in the category that you might want to try. And going back to our budget episode, I probably still give the edge of the stuff that we've tried that's in a cheaper realm to like an early times bib or like the the other one that I brought that I shouldn't have because I was cheating was a JTS Brown 100 proof.
100 proof, yeah.
Yeah, I like that a lot. And so I think maybe it might be worth me blinding this versus some of those to see. But I'm just going to be a solid try based on what I'm tasting tonight.
You know, I think it's really hard to kind of evaluate this.
Yep.
Because you don't want to hate on it. Because we're
doubt.
drinking it, and I mean, it's not the best neat pour, but I mean, probably a lot better than some of the other stuff we actually, you know, for real tried.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and I think I've mixed with the 86 with Coke, and it's been pretty good. So I imagine the 100, I'm just assuming it'll be better.
Okay.
More flavor. So
it definitely has more flavor.
Yeah, I think I'll be a try on this.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, price is obviously fine. It's good.
Oh, absolutely.
It's 100 proof. Mm-hmm. I mean, we're drinking. I bet this thing will be probably pretty nice on rocks.
Yeah, I think it would make a nice mixer on the rocks or something else. I mean, and I really like. Here's the honest to God's truth. I don't mind sipping this neat.
No, I don't either.
It's not terrible. It's just I'm not going to like. Here's the thing: if I have a whole bunch of whiskey,
you're not going to grab this.
Yes, we have a whole bunch of whiskey. Both of us have a lot of whiskey. This is not going to stand out. That's a little bit different than saying it's bad. It's just not something that you're going to be like, okay. Yeah,
and it's not something you're going to take on like a family vacation. Because if you're going to try to pick out, you know, moderate to good stuff to celebrate the vacation. So I don't think it's going to go there.
Yep.
But I mean, I have no problem probably drinking this neat or on the rocks, or, you know, I'll probably finish this like that, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Watching some Kentucky games and just drinking this in the evening.
You need it after this Kentucky games lately. You know, you never know what you're going to get with our good old basketball team there. So in previous episodes, we talked about a little bit how we think the enthusiast markets might be slowing down a little bit and that bourbon might be slowing down a little bit. Do you remember that discussion, Stephen?
I do, but, you know, kind of compared to some of the prices you've said on some bottles, it seems like it's going the opposite.
Yeah, I don't think the retailers are slowing down. The distilleries are slowing down. I think people are slowing down a little bit, which I completely get. But, I mean, maybe that's the time that something like VOB comes into your frame of reference, right?
Yeah.
So just like the real estate market, you remember when the real estate market crashed in 2007? Like all the people that had money that could afford to hold on to their real estate, they were like, I won't batten down the hatches for a couple of years until this thing bounces back up. I think with bourbon, if it does go down, which I don't think it's dropping that precipitously, you know, like it's not like completely like going down, you might want to bunker your really expensive bottles, right? So if they're worth a lot, like you put them away, you don't think about them, you're not going to drink them, you're not going to do anything, and then you go buy yourself some VOB. What do you follow me here?
I drink that.
You drink the VOB during the down times, and then when the market comes back up, you pull those bottles back out, and then you trade them. You know, you might make profit on them to get what you really want, then you enjoy. You know what I mean?
You're telling me to liquidate my 401 and put it in bourbon.
Well, maybe if that market swings down, you can do that.
And with that, thanks for listening to this week's edition. Please like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Mashup KY. Also, let us know your thoughts on this blog in the comment section. Until next time, keep it neat.